Morning, fine people. Welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yard. I'll be Nat. This won't be my Knackers Yard. This will be me going to work. I've got a question for you. I've got a few questions for you, but I'm going for a bit of combined biking wisdom here that I don't have myself. Ivan's popping away in the morning. It's always a nice noise to hear. I'm going to talk riding style, riding position, and it's a genuine question. Now, I have uploaded a short of taking the mickey out of Goblin Rides, who's a considerably larger channel than mine, but Hudson, Dirty Garage Guy, seems to have a lock on him at the moment because he does some funny stuff, not intentionally funny, but and the bit that kind of sparked my initial thought is when you get people waxing lyrical as the oracle of all knowledge over riding style, riding position, etc., particularly when they don't necessarily have the knowledge base to back it up. So I don't want to be I'm going to fucking start this again when I'm not sat at traffic. Would it have killed you to let me out, you cock? It would appear so. Thanks, mate. Morning, everyone. Welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yard. I'll be Nat. This won't be my Knackers Yard. Rides are down. This will be my commute. Hope you're all well. As part of this update, really, is going to be, I want to talk riding style and positioning and the like, and I will tell thee for why. Now, I watch a lot of YouTube and a fair amount of other bike-related content, quite a lot of political stuff and all that sort of shebang. Now, one of the ones that I watch relatively religiously is Dirty Garage Guy, Matt Hudson, because it's both knowledgeable, funny, and pretty crass, the sort of crassness that you can't really get away with in a workplace anymore. So I get my fix through Hudson and through the various contributors. One of those contributors is Goblin Rides. Now they're unwitting contributors. He just gets thrown crumbs by his viewers and checks them out and then ends up laughing his arse off at them. And particularly when they're contributors who talk the talk but can't walk the walk. So Goblin Rides does a fair amount of ride videos or vlogs or whatever, but some of his riding techniques are horrendous, including little gems like cancelling his indicators almost constantly in an OCD-esque fashion, and sticking his I think it's an H2 that he rides, and just sort of 40 mile an hour in 6th gear, which is interesting. But anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. It was I think an earlier one when they were talking about road positioning. Now, to give the context behind this, I really can't talk, and I would never claim to be an expert, and there's many reasons behind that. One, in the grand scheme of things, not been riding all that long. Now, like many of us, statistically, I had bikes when I was a kid. 125s, never did full licence as a kid, couldn't afford it. Tried to kill myself and other people for a couple of years and then stopped doing it. Then got older, got a job, got married, had kids, got back on a bike and loved it ever since. Now that's a very short version of a long story, but it's quite a common one, particularly in the UK, which is especially why the average age for a biker in the UK, I think, is early 50, mid 50s. I think it's 54 or something like that. So this time round, I suppose I've only really been riding about 6 years, and in that 6 years, about 4 years of it has been like on a suburban commute type thing, and the last couple of years have been a central London hack. So what? I don't have that much experience to base it on, which is why I'm asking the question. The second contributing factor is that I got my licence in a slightly dodgy way. Now, don't before anyone starts getting all panicky. It's all legal, but I didn't do my Mod 1, Mod 2 direct access or yada yada yada. I think I've said about this on the channel before, but I got my bike licence overseas. Sorry, filter there, I'm just making sure I don't die. I got my bike licence overseas, and then when I returned to the UK I transferred it across, which is a considerably cheaper way of doing it, but it means that I haven't done Mod 1, Mod 2, so I don't really have oh, this is how you're taught to do it, because I wasn't. My bike riding style, I wouldn't even call it that, the way I ride a bike is for one, self-taught, for two, made up. Self-taught, God, that sounds a bit pretentious, doesn't it? Nobody's taught me how to do it, I've just done it. And there was in one of Dirty Garage Guy's massive live streams, his 6-hour epics, so I wouldn't suggest trying to find it or look it up, because you'll be there forever. But there was some chat over road positioning and dominance and yada yada yada, and it got me thinking. It got me thinking about real life attribution. Now, this is regrettably for me, and probably painfully for many people watching, this is my biking reality. I ride bikes because I love them, but I also ride bikes because they are incredibly practical for my purposes. Now, if you're watching this in the US and you're not in either California or I can't remember the other state that allows it, you may well currently be shitting a house brick, because that's a technical phrase, obviously, because filtering is illegal in, certainly to my understanding, most of the US. Slightly frowned upon by much of the UK, incorrectly. Make sure I'm just concentrating on not dying. Fuck's sake, this is fucking horrendous. Road manoeuvres I refer to as schnurgling, i.e. sneaking with purpose. Yeah, where was I going? Yeah, they're talking about road positioning, and yeah. So I was looking at it thinking, well, does that translate to my riding, to where I ride? And it was all about the road positioning. So in a lane, you have position 1, where I am, i.e. following the track of the left-hand wheel of the vehicle in front. I'm just checking I'm not going to cock people about. Position 2, i.e. hey doodle doodle straight down the middle. And position 3, following the right-hand tyre of the vehicles in front. I am checking behind me that I'm not cocking anyone around too much, because of that hold up, there's nothing behind me. And I thought I'd look it up, and I'll chuck up a little bit of video here I got from a website, and it's talking about, God, that was lazy, massively overgeared there because I was concentrating on talking and what road position I'm in. Yeah, and the the video that I'm either have just or am currently scrolling up is saying about your standard position should be position 2, i.e. this one, the dominant position. Drop into the middle lane because I'm concentrating, and I have to say I could not disagree more. And why? I'll give you a few reasons. One, and I'll do what was going to be a latter reason first because it works well in front. If you look at the two vehicles in front of me, both the Peugeot Boxer to my left and the erdrycleaner.co.uk one in front, which is little Berlingo, I think. Is it Berlingo? Can't quite read the badge because it's dirty. Oh, and the grey van. You'll spot a common trait across them. It's the fact they've got solid backs, i.e. the mirrors, the rear view mirror, i.e. the mirror that's next to your that's attached to your windscreen. Doesn't exist because it can't see anything, so it probably hasn't even got one fitted. It does have two mirrors. I don't know what they call them in the US. Wing mirrors, we call them in the UK. I.e., the ones at the side, the ones that are destined to either hit your handlebars or your elbows when you're a biker, the sticky outy ones. So my view is, when you're in position 2, i.e. what they refer to as the dominant position or dominance position, the website says that's the best position because you are most visible. Yes, I would agree you are most visible, but I think there probably needs to be a bracket on there that says to cars, not vans. Now, I don't know about you, but certainly on my commute I see a lot of vans. So that's, for one, why I don't think the book is correct, that position 2 is where you should spend most of your time. I spend most of my time, this is a 3-lane road, as you can see, I spend most of my time here, in position 3 if I'm in the middle. Now, bearing in mind that lane discipline does not exist on A roads around London, so there isn't a quicker lane and a slower lane, or a left-hand lane or right lane, there's just pick a lane. A lane, not E lane. Forget about Elaine, she's a lovely lady, but she's irrelevant here. Yeah, so if I'm in the middle lane, I want to be spending most of my time in position 3. If I'm in the outer lane, i.e. the lane that I'm in at the moment, I want to be spending all of my time in position 1. I do not want to be going anywhere near position 2, and I certainly don't want to be going anywhere near position 3, i.e. on the extreme right side. And I'll give you an example of that when we get up the front here. But why not? I can't bother trying to squeeze through that little gap. Clutch somebody's mirror. Why? I don't know if this is correct. This is just something I picked up, but I have always on a bike always ridden pseudo defensively. That's not to say I don't do some things offensively, and I can be pretty offensive, but I'm always looking for an escape route. So if I'm in lane 3, i.e. the right hand lane in the UK, I want to be in position 1, because if anybody does anything crazy or stupid in front of me, I've got an escape route to my left. Now, the more I drift to the right, i.e. into position 2 or position 3, if you're an idiot, if the car brakes in front, I've got nowhere to go. I can brake myself, but I've got no escape route, and my general experience. Thank you, little white van, that's very kind of you. I will give you a little wave. My general experience has been, it's going to sound a bit pretentious, you're better accelerating out of a problem than trying to brake out of it. So if somebody slams on their brakes, etc., my view is I'm better off giving a little blip and trying to get around it rather than trying to brake behind it. Now a lot of that is my own paranoia. I can have a degree of influence / control over what's going on in front of me. I can't for what's going on behind me. So if you slam on your brakes, there is nothing to say that the car behind is going to cooperate and do the same, rather than just use you as a crumple zone. So, you know, my view is I don't get this whole dominance bit. You know, you can be best seen there. No, yes, by some vehicles, but there you go, another white van with a solid back. Oh, look, another one with a solid back. Oh, look, another. You know, I think that's arse. It doesn't work in reality, or certainly I'll rephrase that. It doesn't work in my reality. I think the predominant position is position 1, not position 2. I routinely try to, and now bearing in mind I'm not running through mathematical formula in my head when I'm riding a bike, but I'm fairly often just sat around talking bollocks to you guys. But the one thing I do try and do is make sure that when I'm riding I can see their rear view mirrors, or their wing mirrors I should say, or certainly a wing mirror. Why? Because that whole thing of if you can see them they can see you. So yeah, for reality riding, and this is where I'm, you know, am I talking bollocks? Well, of course I'm talking bollocks, my lips are moving, but am I talking bollocks? Is the book wrong? What do you guys do? I was flabbergasted to read that, you know, you should spend most of your time in position 2. I think I spend a fraction, probably less than 10% of my ride time in position 2. Am I wrong? Or is it just that I'm pushed into bad habits by the conditions that I tend to ride in? And I'm entirely happy to accept that. I have picked up some bad habits because of riding in really quite jammed up traffic. Fucking hell, he just nearly collected that car. I'm not sure that's going to come across on camera, but he just nearly sideswiped the car. Anyway, so oh, excuse me. So the bad habits I have picked up, I do try and do something about them, but frankly I'm not overly fussed. One is well, they're mostly clutch related really. So one is I tend to use all 4 fingers on my clutch. Now I don't know if that's, well, I think a lot of that is because when I pull my clutch, if I try and do 2 finger clutches, I tend to trap my fingers behind my levers. Now maybe I just don't have them set up correctly and I've got too much travel on it, etc. So that's probably what it is, frankly. But I like the comfort of all 4 fingers on my clutch. Now that might be just because I'm used to riding older bikes. I don't know. Maybe newer bikes are lighter clutches. Maybe I'm just really wet and I don't have power in 2 or 3 fingers to pull a clutch. I don't know, but you know, that's one of my bad habits. My other is that I do tend to coast in neutral in heavy traffic. And I know that's a really bad thing to do. Not a lot. I'm trying to make excuses now. I won't, for example, go clutch in and just cruise, and nor do I do that round corners and things like that. But if it's heavy traffic and I don't know what the vehicle's going to do in front, my first reaction, my panic reaction, if you like, is to dip the clutch and freewheel, which is probably not a good thing. Yeah, so I'm not going to witter for too long. That'll do me. I'm interested in your views. Am I right? Because if I was to do, my argument is, if I was to do position 3 here, oh, thank you, it's made space for me. And if anything happens in front of me, I've got nowhere to go. I've got a big central reservation and a massive bit of metal that if I hit it, that's going to chafe. It might even leave a mark. If I'm in position 2, this van can't see me. It doesn't even know I'm there because it's got no rear view, and I'm too close to see his wing mirrors. And I realise, people might say, but you're tailgating. No, this is London traffic. This is how it works. You don't have to be right up something's arse, but you're certainly close enough to, or probably closer than you should be, highway code-ish. Whereas I've got escape routes here, left and right. Oh, I don't know. What do you think, people? Am I just wittering? Have I just picked up on a book practice what nobody actually does? And I don't think I am picking up on it, because the dude I was following yesterday, I was following a big GS for half my route in yesterday, and he was religiously sat in position 2, in the dominant position, and I was just watching him thinking, nothing knows you're there, fella. And it was a big old GS as well. It's not as if you could hide it, but he was, so position 2, I'm a decent distance, I'm not tailgating that van in front, but it has no fucking clue I'm here, can't see me. Whereas if I'm in position 1, I can see him sat in his driver's seat through his wing mirror. And that's, I think, is my point. Right, that'll do me wittering over. Have a fantastic day, and I will catch you anon.